week and then half of next week and get ready for training camp starting August 7th. So, with that being said, that's really the update of what we have. The great thing is, let me say, our athletic trainers, our medical staff, our administration here at Campbell University has done a great job of really, keeping us safe. Just to have, two guys that was positive and one coach and not for it to spread. And we got it right away. The contact tracing was right on point. Everybody, got on top of it, and we was able to, make it happen. So, to be here since June 15th and only have those type of cases, it's kudos to everybody that's involved.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll now begin questions for Coach Minner. And some good news, we figured out our recording, so we started recording Coach Minner. Coach, we're not an expert on Zoom, or at least I'm not. So I should have logged in with you. And you may want to try to see if the participants recording is available as well. We're still working on that. But Coach, first question for you is from Todd Gibson. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Mike, great to see you again, Coach. You're a couple years now removed from non-scholarship. How has that affected your roster moving forward? I'm sure it's been quite the upgrade for you guys.
Oh, man, great to see you, Todd. It's been unbelievable. The difference between when you paying somebody to come play for you and when you asking somebody to pay to come play for you. It's been a drastic change in what we look like on our roster. So when you look at 4 years of kind of recruiting people, getting people on board, now I mean we look like a football team that can compete at a scholarship level in the Big South. You look at my offensive line right now. We got a transfer from Wake Forest and Mike Edwards. He's 6'6", 330 pounds. Scheduled to play left tackle for us. Our right tackle, Tyler Mcclellan, who you guys know, he was a starter for us last year. He's 6'7", 345. And so when you start to look at the difference, the other thing is that at the end of the day, you have, another transfer that came in from FIU. He's going to play offensive guard for us. And you look at him, he's 6'5", 305. And so that's the difference in what we have right now. Of course, the guy who's preseason, offensive player of the year, guess what? He's a scholarship guy too. And so, these are the type of players that we are getting, in our program right now. And I'm really excited about where we at in year 3.
Thanks, Mike. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. And I believe the record function on everyone, all the participants, is now enabled. So please try. And again, I apologize for that difficulty early on. Again, please mute your lines if you're not speaking. And Coach, next question for you is from McLean Baxley from the Savannah Morning News. Go ahead, McLean.
Hey, Coach. So now, losing the Davidson game, the season opens September 12th for y'all in Statesboro against Georgia Southern. Have you started preparing for them or looking forward? What you see from the Eagles so far?
Yes, McLean, good to see you. And, the thing is that, it's kind of tough. So we had to prepare for everybody just in case, right? So you just didn't know what was going to happen. And so right now, we are in talks with other teams to fill that spot up where Davidson left off. And so we got a couple of big teams that we're talking to at this moment. So Georgia Southern still might be number 2 on our schedule up to this point. But looking at them, of course, that's the FBS program that's on the rise and really doing great in their conference. And, it's going to give us a great challenge. I mean, them some grown men when you look at that football team. Of course, the kind of the veer option type offense that they run. It's always tough on the defense, and it really causes a lot of problems because everybody really is going to be one-on-one in the most situations, what option offense does to you. And they got athletes that can make it happen. And so I think defensively, they would definitely be one of the best defenses that we'll see. They're very athletic in that 3-down defense, and they really cause a lot of problems for an offense because you don't know where that 4th and 5th and 6th guy is going to be coming from based off the fact that they only got 3 down linemen. And so when you look at that stuff, it makes it tough. Hopefully, they look at us and they say we're gonna keep it real simple. they don't do nothing that's gonna be too confusing and just line up and just play us. So that's what we're hoping. But it's a great challenge, man. It's a great opportunity for Campbell University too to get outside of North Carolina and be able to go down and play these guys in Georgia. So that'd be really good to get away in another state because we recruit a lot in Georgia. So it's going to be really good for us to get into that state again and play somebody like that and try to make this game competitive. And that's our goal when you go play the big FBS teams.
Thanks, Coach, and hope to see you September.
Thank you.
Thanks, McClellan. Mike Solarte, you're next.
What's your name, Mike? Good to see you, bud.
Big Mike.
How are you, man? This would have been, if we turn back the clock to your playing days, today would have been the day to report to camp with the Panthers. And obviously, in this world, this would be a very weird time to do it. How much of an eye are you keeping on how the NFL is handling protocols and applying what you see there? And are you do you have conversations with the Players Association, even though you're retired, about how to implement some of their protocols into your football program?
First of all, Mike, great to see you again, man. And, this will be very difficult, right, to be as a player coming in because really you kind of relying on everybody else to make sure that everything is good. And, yes, I am in talk with some of the guys from the Player Association to, kind of pick their brain of what they're thinking, how they're going to, attack certain things, and how the protocols is going to be coming from that level. And so as a coach, you the one coming up with all the the protocols and the decisions and how you're going to do certain things, and so you're a little bit more comfortable because it's in your hands and not somebody else's. And so but we've done a great job since we've been here. Since June 15th. And so when I look at it, I say it can be done because we've done it for the last, month and a half. And so I do understand what that looks like. If I was at the NFL level and I was making some of these decisions, basically what I would do is I would go one game, take a week off, one game, take a week off. Yeah, of course, you're not going to get all the games in, and I know it's about that money and that TV contract, and so I do understand that, but that's how I would do it because it gives people 2 weeks to deal with any situation that comes their way, and it's not necessarily just 5 days or 4 days to try to figure out how do you get somebody who just tested positive ready for the next game, and then how many people did they affect to be able to say how many did, so you look at the baseball, the Marlins, I mean, that can happen real quick. But when you got 2 weeks to deal with that, then you're able to get these guys back and ready to play again. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for the NFL, man. They got all the money to make that happen. But, as far as, the football, I think everybody's excited. I think the players want to play as far as the NFL is concerned. I know I would want to play if I was a player back in the day, as long as we had the understanding of everything was going to be protected. And then if something was to happen, what are we going to do with that? At least I would want to try it and see what happens. And I'm sure that's what these guys are going to do. And, I'm thankful for the Big South. I mean, because think about it, it's a lot of conferences that said no. already, and they didn't give it a chance to see what the training camp will look like or the season will look like. And so I'm very thankful for this conference and Cal, being a thought leader in this endeavor to try to make 2020 happen. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm thankful for Campbell to say, hey, let's try to make it happen and go with the protocols and see what's going on.
Thanks, Mike. I'd ask you a follow-up, but they're starting to stack up, so I'll get out of the way.
Thanks, Mike. Jared from WRAL.
Mike, great to see you again, bud. My question might be off the beaten path a little bit, but I know there's no substitute for firsthand viewing of a potential recruit. And I was wondering, since you don't get that opportunity this year with so many high schools being postponed and a lot of them being pushed back to spring even, and with camps being out of the question, I was curious as to how much more you and your staff tend to lean on video then, or secondhand information from other coaches, and how important sites like Huddle become in terms of determining your future recruiting classes.
Jared, that's a great question. What we did is Huddle has come up with a new program, and the program is basically, a subscription that you buy with them, and you get all the video of every high school player in the all the way up to his junior year. And of course, you would get his, if they do play his senior year, you would get it. So you get all the film. And I think that's the most important thing, is that now you get a chance to watch every single game, and you get a chance to watch every single play with this player to learn more about him, because you're not going to get that senior film. And then you got to now project on what he will look like at this point, right? So you got to find out, did the kid grow? Did he get faster? Did he get bigger? And I'm sure we'll have some of those measurements that then now you got to say, well, if he was 5'9" here and now he's 6'2" here, okay, this means that he should be this much better, right? And so this is how you got to project. And so it's a lot of that going on. The great things, I guess, with the Power Fives, with the Alabamas of the world and the Clemsons of the world, they're going to get the best player. So you really don't need senior film to know that this kid can play. And so I think what makes it hard for us is that, most of our players is guys that you kind of recruiting through their senior year. And now you have to put your neck out there and step out a little bit and see what you're getting. So it makes it very interesting. But it also gives us, some of us guys, an opportunity to steal some guys that might not was on the radar their junior year, okay? But they fit us, and we know they fit us, and so you go after a kid like that. Like we were the first guys that offered 6'5" tight end from the beach area here in North Carolina in Topsail, okay? 2 weeks later, he gets all kind of offers from FBS people, right? But we was on him first, and hopefully that means something to him. But that's the type of stuff that we're doing from a recruiting standpoint. It's got to be a lot of film watching, and it's got to be a lot of projecting.
Thank you so much, bud. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jared. Jeff Hartzell, you're next with Coach Minner.
Hey, Coach, it's Jeff Hartzell down in Charleston.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, how comfortable are you sending your guys out to sweat and bleed with each other and then against other teams this fall in the middle of what we're going through?
Yeah, Jeff, great question, man. It's tough. I mean, who knows what's the right answer? And I think when people have uncertainty about what's the right thing to do, you're gonna have questions, right? And so again, I think the biggest thing is that you have to follow the protocol, whatever that is, from the CDC to whatever the NCAA is talking about, and then whatever the Big South is going to come up with, and then what we're doing as a university. And so you have to rely on that, because that's all you have. And once you rely on that information and then you come up with a plan, then you go forward with that plan. And that's basically what we've done from the beginning. So if we here since June 15th and we've been living with this, and we know what the protocol is, we know how to contact trace. We know that if somebody comes up positive, what to do with that. That we're not going to panic. And I think that's the biggest thing in life, is that it's about information. The more information you get, the better you're going to be to respond to any situation in life. And so that's where we at now. I know without a shadow of a doubt what it is and how to handle the situations that come up. And so we know what that is. And so I think from that standpoint, I'm very comfortable and I'm very confident in what we're doing to keep our guys as safe as possible. Some of the things I look at is I say, okay, if these kids were not here, and some kids, they live in situations where, let's just say that they wouldn't be getting tested. They wouldn't be, in situations like they are right now with us. And we get a chance to, protect them, teach them, grow them in a way that they probably wouldn't have all the time. And so I look at that part of it too, Jeff. And so, as it pertains to going and playing somebody else, I'm sure the other coaches are doing the same thing. And all we can do is do our best, play the game, and see what happens. And that's really what we can do right now. If everybody goes into the game negative, and we do our best at the situation that's given, and then we respond to what comes up after that.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
We got a few more questions for Coach. I know we want to try to get their student athletes on. Craig Haley, I see you're in the Crescent shoe. Go ahead, Craig.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Coach. Just want to ask you what you had mentioned about your idea with the NFL playing every other week. Could that work in college football?
Craig, great to see you, man. I think you do a great job with your FCS website, man. It's big time, and I want to say that, and thank you for that. I think it could. I think it could work in college, especially if people are going to the conference only model. You have a chance to control that. You have a chance to schedule that how you need to do it. And if you look at 8 to 9 games, you can get that done up into November. And but you would have the space for something that pops up, and I think that's very important in this situation. And so it gives people, I think, more flexibility to deal with things that come up their way. So I definitely think that it can work on a college level too. If it was a conference only thing, you had control over, the scheduling. And so I know a lot of, I would say, conference game, and for us small people, at least one money game. so we can help with our budget. So I think that's the biggest thing, Craig, that I see if we wanted to get the flexibility to be able to control things a little bit better.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Michael Hebert from the Times Daily, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Minter. Just wanted to ask you, Campbell's one of the few teams that's played North Alabama since they started in Division II, obviously split the last 2 seasons. Just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on, takeaways from them as a program and kind of see how you see them evolve since they started, here in this conference.
Absolutely. Great to see you, Michael. And I know you're in that great state of Alabama. So let me say this, man. North Alabama is going to be one of those teams that you better be ready for, okay? Because once they get full going into Division I and they get all the scholarships, the 63 scholarships awarded to them, it's going to be really tough to play these guys. Of course, they was a powerhouse in the Division II level, and it's going to be a matter of time where these guys is going to be competing for the championship here in the Big South, and also going to the playoffs. So every year they gotten better with their talent. And his coach is doing a great job of getting the right type of guys in there. And you can see the progression of a Division II team to a Division I team. You can see that progression. That's all you want to see, because it was the same thing with us. Of course, we weren't coming from a Division II level. We was coming from a non-scholarship level. So we had to go from 0 to try to get to 63. So I know the struggles that coach is dealing with. He's done a great job of making that happen. And again, man, his talent level, you know, from year 1 to year 2 was like unbelievable. Them big old boys he had up front on that defensive line, I'm like, where they come from, right? And I forgot he was in the state of Alabama. That's probably where they came from. And so I think he's going to get a lot of chances to get now drop downs that come from bigger schools that want to continue to stay at a D1 level. And he's going to get the opportunity to do that, whereas when you're at a D2 level, some guys probably won't go that far down. And now he gets a chance to collect those type of guys. So, you know, North Alabama definitely will be somebody that everybody's going to have to deal with here in the near future.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
And Coach, last question for you is from Aaron Summers. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, Coach. It's good to see you. I know last season you ended on a 4-game losing streak. You were really close in some of those last final games. What are you working on with your team mindset, mentality-wise, to kind of get over the hump and become one of the top-tier teams in the Big South?
Well, great to see you again, Ms. Aaron. I think that looks like orange, so if it's not, we're going to go with that. But one of the things that we've talked about is first developing the depth, because when you start talking about the end of the year, you're talking about depth in your football team. And of course, you know, we didn't have the scholarship level to be able to create that. So that's one of the things that we try to do in the off season was, you know, acquire different people to help with that depth, and then also the training and all that type of stuff. So the mindset has to be, it's 11 weeks, guys. It's not 7, right? So we got to understand that football, it takes a toll, and you have to be. This is why you lift all those weights. This is why you run all those gassers, and this is why you do that training. It's because weeks 8, 9, 10, and 11, that's where it shows up. And so that's what we've been talking about. Everything matters. Everything that you do matters to those last 4 weeks, because that's where champions are made, is in the last 4 weeks, not in the first 7 and the last 4. And so that's been what we've been preaching. I'm excited to get my football team in the training camp, and then also excited to get them into 2020, because I believe that we got the type of players, which you guys are going to hear from here in a minute. We got the type of player with the mindset to understand, 1, how to do it themselves, 2, how to hold people accountable to doing it, and then 3, at the end of the day, to lead everybody to get there. And so I'm excited to see what we have in 2020.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Coach. We do know we're running into Charleston Southern. We still want to visit with our 2 student athletes from Campbell, Haj Malik Williams, Justice Galloway Velasquez. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Haj Malik, we'll start with you. Preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Congratulations. First sophomore to be named to receive this honor. If you can kind of just give us your reaction to this recognition, and does this increase the expectations you have for yourself this season?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the award. All credit to my teammates. This really does not, you know, make my expectations for myself go up. You know, I just kind of want to remain the same guy. You know, when I came in, just continue to have my head down and working, and, you know, make those plays for my teammates when they need me. And I just kind of try to be that guy on and off the field. You know, we this offseason has definitely been rough. We've actually kept in contact though throughout Zoom and stuff. So we just kind of understanding that we want to get over the hump from last year, how we dropped the ball on the last 4, and understanding like we're so close and we're able to get better and understanding, but also being safe as we do it. So, you know, we want to work hard, get those extra throws in, but, you know, it's a lot of limitations with that. But as far as the season goes, our expectations are the same.
All right, we'll take questions for Haj Malik as well as Justice. You can enter the question queue. Justice, welcome in. For yourself, coming off an all-conference season last year, kind of what personal goals have you set for yourself this season?
Thanks for having me. I want to say I appreciate the preseason nod for that too. I've set the bar high for myself. I want to be first team All-American. The honorable mention last year was something that I was thankful for, but I wasn't really grateful for. I really wish I would have got the first team, but that just proves I just got to work hard on the field.
All right, great. Gentlemen, we're going to take some questions for you. First is Todd Gibson for Justice. Todd, go ahead.
Hey, Justice. Good to see you again. Obviously, you're an outstanding quarterback in high school. How has that transferred onto the field now as you're a linebacker? How has that helped you, and how hard was it to get from a quarterback body to, say, a linebacker's body?
Well, I would say it wasn't so hard transitioning the body just because my body type was built for a linebacker. A lot of folks in high school were telling me I should be on the defensive side of the ball. But at the time in high school, we needed a quarterback, and I was the man to fill the shoes. Transitioning from QB to linebacker was really a one-up on everyone because playing QB, you read defenses, you understand the coverages, you understand what plays are going to work against the coverages, you understand beat the coverage and where your holes are in the defense. When I moved to defense, now I can tell my defensive players where our holes are, where someone can beat us at, and how they could do it. So they can evaluate the pre-snap and understand on this play they could get us here so they can, jump the ball or, give a good heads up to someone.
Thanks, Justice. Stay healthy this year.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd. Haj, we got some questions for you. First from Craig Haley, and then Jeff Hartzell.
Gosh, thank you for the time. I just want to ask you your counterpart today with the preseason awards. Can you describe Bryson Armstrong as a player?
You said describe Bryson Armstrong as a player?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a very good hard worker. He works hard, comes day in, day out. He continues to, up the team and make sure that we understand, our situations and stuff. So, he's a guy, a very good dude.
All right, thank you.
Jeff Hartzell, you're next.
Yes, Haj. This is Jeff Hartzell down in Charleston. How are you?
Good.
I'm wondering how you and your teammates are feeling about going out and playing football in the midst of this pandemic and all the uncertainty going on around this virus. How are y'all feeling about it?
As much as we want to play football, we definitely understand that it's a lot going on in our country, stuff that goes beyond football as far as the pandemic. A lot of people in my neighborhoods and stuff like that are getting, shot down by police. So it's a lot of stuff going on that, can be overwhelming to our athletes. But we, Coach Minter does a great job of having us come together and really embrace the family and understanding that we must protect the bubble. That's what we preach a lot. So, the trust that we have within the team that everybody will do their job to, wear their masks when they go out or stay in, just be around each other. That's really where the confidence comes from, being comfortable to going out there and competing.
How hard is it to protect the bubble, as you say?
It's not really hard. When you're around guys that you enjoy being around, it's not difficult. We find the slightest things to laugh about, and when we're around each other 24/7, we're really the only people on campus right now, so it's really not that hard. When we go into the calf, all we see is each other, so we're eating together, working out together, so protecting the bubble isn't that hard. Even on weekends, the most we might do is go to the pool, and that's just with each other, so it's
Will it get harder when school starts?
We have a great plan for when students come, but you're definitely going to have that temptation of players may want to go out and be college students, and then at the end of the day, that's something that they have to understand, that not only will they put themselves in harm's way, but understanding what we have and what we plan to do in the fall. So we are grown and we can handle the responsibility. So I trust our guys to make the right decision.
Thanks, Haj. Good luck.
Thanks, Jeff. Next questions, Rod Baxley, you're next. I know you have a question for Justice, and then Danelle Colley, you can follow Rod.
Hey, Justice, good to see you, man. What has the mental approach been like since you guys got back to campus in June?
Good to see you too, Mr. Rod. And since we got back, I was one of the first guys to come back on campus, and since then, the coaches have installed a plan and precautionary things to help keep the spread of that virus down. And everyone has been following it the right way, and we feel pretty good about what we got going on. We just got news that we are going to have a season, so I feel like everyone's got their head on straight, and we're looking at playing the 2020 season.
As a leader, how do you navigate that, not knowing truly what's?
Could you say that one more time? Sorry, it was a little shaky right there.
Yeah, sorry, man. As a leader, how do you navigate the unknowns, not knowing what's ahead?
I just try to tell them, just watch the older guys, pick up from them. I don't want to be too hard on you first game. I want you to evaluate the college life yourself and come to me if you have questions. Like I said, I'm here for anyone that comes here. The freshmen that just got on campus, they're doing very well with following the coaches' plans. They're doing very well with staying up to date with announcements and all that. So as a leader, I do try to take up my part and do what I have to do to keep this team going.
Hey, Justice, I have a question for you. This is Donnell here at the Daily Record and Dunn. Just wanted to ask you about fan participation. Obviously, it's going to be a little different this year, whether you're allowed to have fans or whether they're limited. You being a defensive guy, how does that factor into what you guys do? I know you guys feed off the crowd a lot, so how do you think that's going to factor into what you tell the group and how you guys are preparing for that?
Well, I've been telling them to just have the image of a spring game or spring practice, and it's open. Don't think of it as a full sellout game, because fans do play a big part in our entertainment and what we do on the field and how hard we go in our adrenaline. Like the fans do play a big part, and as a defensive player, you really for them. But like I said, I don't want them to look at not having fans as to not wanting to play, because like we go out there and practice 5 days a week without hardly anyone out there watching us. So just treat it like that, and I tell them don't look at it as something that's going to stop you from doing what you love to do, which is play football.
Danelle, anything else?
Mark?
Our next questions, our last two questions will be from Reggie Walker, and then we'll end with McLean Baxley. So go ahead, Reggie.
This question is for Haj Malik and Justice. Guys, obviously, Coach mentioned earlier in a situation like this, later in the year, depth could be a thing because, you may have some situations where guys miss time due to a positive COVID test, things like that. How much have you taken it upon each of yourselves to make sure some of these even younger guys, the freshmen that just came in, are really aware mentally, obviously haven't done as much physically, but mentally with understanding the system, understanding play calls, things like that, to make sure they're a little bit more ready than maybe normal?
Personally, we have a lot. We are definitely an older group now on the offensive side of the ball. So the leaders of each position they have taken it, upon themselves to, kind of get the freshmen under their wing and kind of help them, because, it's one thing to see the play, but it's another thing to go through it and kind of get the errors out. So with that, being limited, they definitely have been having, endless conversation with the guys, tips on how to run certain things and what to look for. So as far as the young guys, I feel like they're picking it up, but just it's always that difficulty of, seeing it and kind of going through the motions and kind of, working out your mistakes through it. So, but we just take it one day at a time, answer every question, through our Zoom, really, and just kind of just wait.
Yeah, picking off of where Haj was saying, we're trying to stay on them pretty tight about getting into the playbook, just because we're not in our face-to-face meetings like usual. We're not doing practice and walkthroughs. We're not able to getting and do extra work in the weight room and stuff like that we want to. So a lot of things that were normal back then that we could do to help incoming freshmen are not available now. So we just have to be, use the resources that are available to us as much as we can, which is like what Hodge said, Zoom calls, FaceTime calls. Sometimes we have guys in the apartment only up to a few players, and that we go over plays with, I want to say, anything we can find in the house to place down as an offensive player, we try to do that so you can get a visual of it, because a lot of guys learn through the visual way, not just by someone telling them. And that's what comes with the extra work on the field. That's what I said we're limited at. So a lot of guys are not going to learn that way that they can learn the best way they can. So we just try to help them as much as we can.
All right, thanks, Reggie. All right, last two questions we have are both for Hodge. First, McLean Baxley, and then we'll end the session with Luke Williams. So go ahead, McLean.
Yeah, so another exciting season on the radar. What games are you most looking forward to outside of the Big South schedule?
All of them, really. As many as we can, really, because I'm just kind of waiting to see who we play, because everybody's having their doubts about the season. So I'm just taking it week 1 to week 2 to week 3. It's not really a circle game on the schedule. I'm just ready to get out there with my guys and compete.
Appreciate it.
Hi, Hodge. This is Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. Tell me about the origin of your name and whether you know that this week is the week of Hajj for Muslims around the world. I'm a Muslim also, and I thought, I'm new to the conference because I'm coming in to cover it with Hampton and A&T and others coming. But tell me a little bit about your background. I see you're from Atlanta.
Yes,
tell me about your background in terms of that name.
Yes. So my mom was a big fan of Malcolm X, so she named me after Malcolm X. My mom is not Muslim, so she didn't really kind of force that onto me, but my family members around are definitely Muslim. So growing up, not really understanding, the name and how powerful it is until now, I kind of see the world around me and understanding what it is to have, this skin and from day to day, the challenges that it brings it on itself, and, as I continue to help myself get this pedestal and this voice, I kind of want to use it, to the young guys back at home, in Atlanta that just kind of don't really understand what's beyond the situation they're going through. So, yeah, the origin of the name, it speaks volumes, and I understand that with that, it comes a huge deal. So
that's great. And just a little follow-up, if I could, Mark. Hodge, did you think you would have the kind of success you had last year in terms of, the accomplishments you have, and how does that compare to the kind of high school career that you had?
So when I left high school, I enrolled in Army West Point, and then, just the football situation really wasn't it for me. So coming here, I definitely had to chip on my shoulder to prove, not only to my teammates that I, will be their starting quarterback, but also to myself, that everything happens for a reason, and I can't really dwell on the past, but just motivate myself to keep working. And, as you do that, the fruits of your labor will be, it will come out. And I definitely got with Coach Matt. He helped, kind of get my mentality correct, because I was kind of a little off, a little down, like what I'm going to do. And so when I came out, man, he just really just told me just play. And when you have that confidence from your head coach to just go out there and play, you just do your thing. And it so happened, a couple of awards came my way, and I'm thankful. And just trying to get some more wins and get them rings. So.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
All right, Campbell, thank you so much for your time today, gentlemen. Really appreciate it. Great insight. And again, we appreciate your time this morning. We're going to take a quick 60-second break, and then we'll resume again with Charleston Southern. So please stand by, and we'll get back up and going in just a moment.